So I have I'm going to share a story that has happened and how they used this whole data literate workforce to stay relevant. Yeah. A few years ago, a managing director of a massive global oil and gas player came up to me, approached me, and said, "Shai, I need your help." Uh, the issue at that time was they had 8 global shared services, and the headquarters have decided that they wanted to close down the one particular one in ASEAN. Okay, so he wanted to save this plant from being shut down and the shared services. And he was at that time about 1,800 employees, and they were already letting go of people. So what happened in that point is we came in, we looked at the whole organization, we started building a data literate workforce. I think we spent about 9 months with them, making sure that, who are the key people that quickly can be upskilled and how they can quickly show, results. They managed to optimize process. They managed to come up with new business ideas that in the end, not only the headquarters for analytics for this particular oil and gas, we positioned their team in ASEAN. That organization not only did not get shut down, today they have grown to 2,800 employees. And I get so passionate when I talk about this, because not only we managed to save people's lives, livelihoods, right? These are jobs of, almost 2,000 people that would have gone overnight. Now they have become so relevant and also innovative, and that allows some part of ASEAN to become a high income nation. So I think for me, this is a very personal story, and I think it's amazing how sustainability, how you work on future workforce, how you don't think that I'm stuck in the way because I studied law, I will die a lawyer, because I did finance, I will die an accountant. This has to stop. I do tell people that teachers who don't work with technology will lose their jobs. Doctors who don't work with technology will lose their job. And this is what the future is going to look like. So I think I've got a few more slides before I can take questions. Jeremy, next. So it's about CADS. I'll keep it simple. I started off my talk telling that CADS, it started with a purpose. So we are a we started as an education company. Very early on, we realized that we didn't have talent to grow. And that's the same reason why the Skills Intelligent platform was created by us. So how do we identify the skills? How do we build these? How do we make them relatable for organizations to stay relevant? So the vision is very clear, right? You future-proof the world by improving data literacy as an economy, right? The more you are skilled in this world, in this part of digitalization, the more relevant you are. In fact, you don't even have to worry about losing your job. You are more worthwhile in terms of monetary than anybody else, including fresh grads. Finance major that comes with data literate certification gets a higher chance of not only being hired, but getting a higher salary out of that. But how do you plan to do this? Is to get organizations to start building their workforce through ensuring everybody have the data literacy skills. Having said that, the next slide, Jeremy. Uh, so who are we? Why are we saying this? What authority that we have? I am so excited to say that we are the only ASEAN company in the Gartner findings that qualify to talk about data literacy. We have experiment, we have built, we have helped hundreds of organizations through the data-driven maturity, along with their data literacy. So what we do in our platform is we tie back the maturity of the digital transformation towards the level percentage of data literate workforce we have. So we realize the percentage of data literate workforce determines how far they can go on the maturity of that. I think with that is my last slide. And I think we have about 10 minutes or so for us to take questions, Jeremy. So Thank you so much. Those who want to contact me, I'm available on LinkedIn, so you can always approach me, and I'm glad to be able to answer more questions if you might have.
Thank you so much, Sharala, for this insightful session. So we do have this Q&A session now. So if you have any questions, just feel free to ask. If you can see the box on your right, you can type those questions there. So I already have a few questions here. Let me just project them to the screen. Okay, so the first question coming from Anna. So what is your opinion on data privacy?
Somebody asked me a few months back, like, why we are not monetizing data, and I'm saying, like, I think we have a problem with that. I think there's way too many people monetizing from our data without our permission, and I think that infuriates me. So I have very strong opinions about data privacy, of course, right? All of us do. But what I think that we do not have to reinvent the wheel. What we should do is we should do what Europe has done, right? We have the GDPR,
Yeah.
which means data is mine. My data is mine, and I am to give you permission to use it or not. So it's not, banks are the biggest culprit even in Europe, because they have, and because they control, right, whether I get, what's my credit limit? Do I get bank loans, right? And in this part of the world, you also need to look at the credit scores. So I think it's so important to empower us to own our own data and let us give permission if we want our data to be used. I mean, most of us will do, because I like the convenience of you guessing what I want even before I want that. So I think that's my take on data privacy, that the empowerment should be given back to the people.
Empowerment and awareness, right? I think that would be,
Yes.
yeah. So then we have another question coming from another anonymous attendee. Let me just project the question. So how can small business e-commerce undergo digital transformation? What is your view on government's current policy in supporting digital transformation? So we have two
Ah,
questions.
yes, two parts, right? So what I think about SMEs now, I'm kind of SME. I'm beyond SME now, but I understand I started that. Um, Strategy, right? Let know any strategy is a luxury for SMEs, right? When you are thinking about revenue, visibility of revenue, it's only 2 months, and you want to pay salary, the COVID, right? How do I pay rental? Oh gosh, I wish I haven't taken the office space. All the SMEs, when you have that, to be able to want to have digital, any kind of strategy is a luxury. But I tell all SME owners, this is a must. You must take time out to think about how and where you want to spend on technology. Recently, I did a talk in Penang on SMEs embracing. So it's so important that when money, every dollar is calculated in SMEs. Every dollar means an opportunity to hire someone else. The only way you're going to become the next Amazon, well, you might think I'm far-fetched to say that, but people who don't know this, or people don't think about it, Amazon started as a book selling portal. No, it wasn't even a platform, right? They would buy book on a lower price, and you would get in the price, and they'll ship it to you. That's what they start. It might as well be a mom and pop shop, a brick and mortar shop, just one way of transaction. It's not even a platform. And then Jeff Bezos just built it on and made it that into a marketplace, which is a platform now, and people forget that they sold books. So think about it. You could be just selling clothes as an SME. If you go digital, then your audiences are not the one that's in the backyard, the next, lane houses or within the area. They will be able to grow that. Now, the second part is they asked about what my talk about how the government is supporting this. Now,
Yep.
I am a huge fan in encouraging, because if you see the video, right, this whole transition, you cannot do it alone. Universities cannot do it alone. Organizations cannot do it alone. Government has to play an important part. Now, my problem with the whole support of digital transformation the government does is they don't understand what digital transformation means. Like, I'll give you an example. When I applied for a loan, the banks came and told me that, okay, now you're going to digital. Can I see your equipment? And I'm going like, no, I'm a cloud-based, right? I don't have, I cannot, oh, so difficult, Shah. If you cannot see and touch, I don't know how to give you a bank loan. Okay, so the concept about digitization for them is, oh, I'm so going to get murdered after this, right? Is, but I think it's important we talk about this, right?
Yeah.
Is about automation. That means if I bought, I don't know, like a printer lah, and if I have someone manually, I don't know, printing 10, and my printer can do 1,000 equivalent to 10 people I have optimized and automated my business. You've gone digital. Here you go. So what I cannot see, I cannot touch, I cannot justify. So this is my struggle with the government to be able to answer, understand virtual. What is virtual digitization? I don't want servers anymore. I want cloud. I want my financing accounts to be in cloud, right? So that's my challenge. We're getting there. I think more and more government agencies are educating themselves, but they need, you see, it's difficult for you to do a policy when you have never run a business. I love all these policies that's coming out. And I go like, have you ever run a business? Have you ever thought about not being able to pay your employees for that month? Do you know what it takes? So I think it's important to include SMEs in this journey so they can get a better insight on how to create policies.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that, Sharala. I do have one follow-up question for you, Sharala, because one of the questions actually did ask about digital transformation, right? And throughout your presentation, you did mention about the importance of, like upskilling, digital literacy, how to become more data-driven. So what would you advise, or how would you advise for companies who like to embark in that journey? What are the things that they should start to look at first? If they want
Okay.
to.
I love that question. That's from you, right, Jeremy?
Yeah, that's from you.
I like that. So I think one client of mine put it so well when they started the journey with us. Like, I need to know where am I today in order to move the needle, right? So a lot of us in the past, we did a plug and pray, right? We invested and then we hoped that my investment will give a ROI, and then a gazillion articles about encouraging failure, and you will lose some of your money because now you're experimenting, and that's what digital is all about. 10 years fast forward, you don't have to do that. You can know exactly, there's a lot of apps out there. You should be able to look. You can come to CAT, you can even go to CADS AI platform, which we're doing a lot for the insurance and insurtech, where organizations and representatives of a vertical, like the Malaysian Institute of Insurance, they all want to know what is the maturity of the insurance world so they can actually help support. Is it technology? Is it people? Is it analytics? Is it getting data? And then once you know where you are in the maturity curve, then you know exactly where you need to spend, especially now when it's basically impossible to get money from your CFO. Then everything is about ROI. Then you can clearly say, I'm at maturity 1 or 2, and if I invest in this days, I should be able to get this. And it's proven, we have data to show that, so people don't have to just simply guess where they need to invest.
Yep. That is a good answer, Sharala. Thank you so much for that. So
Most
I have
welcome.
one last question since we have another 3 more minutes to go. Can we take another question, Sharala?
Of course, bring it on.
So then let me project the question. So how can business on Shopee or Lazada transform digitally, given that these platforms have been quite sufficient in providing everything that they need, data, customer, etc.? Any advice on venturing deeper into digital transformation? I'm guessing the question is, what can they do other than, just
Right.
utilizing what is on the platform?
This is so funny. I actually thought, a few years back, I actually thought technology company will not need us. Okay. And what was interesting is one of the e-hailing that just went IPO recently reached out to us because having had hundreds of data scientists, they wanted to build them as data leaders, meaning things like data, they are highly skilled. Don't get me wrong. Now, the issue about technology people is when you're highly skilled, you can write great algorithm, you do amazing machine learning and all that. But when it comes to business, the question always has been, so what? Why do you think I need to do this, right? So part of that whole team, they have data leaders. They started building, a career path for all the technical data analysts, data engineers, and then start getting them to understand what the business requires and how do you apply data literate skills into your data science skills. So that was one of the things that we found. We did not expect that. We're going like, why are they calling us and why do we need this? So that as one of the reasons why I think Shopee and Lazada, we do work with them. And data, we call it enterprise data practitioner, means data storytelling, data listening. How do you do visualization with Excel becomes so important in every level.
Right. Thank you so much, Sharala. Think yeah, we are almost ready to go for the next session already. So I would like to end this session. Thank you so much, Sharala, for joining us. So just let me share a slide first, just to show you all what is actually the upcoming session that we have for you. One moment.
Jeremy, we were lucky. There was we didn't get locked out.
Exactly. Okay, so for the next session, we have Mr. Navin. So he'll be talking about empowering the agriculture sector with digital ag tech adoption. So if you're interested in this session, feel free to look through the agenda and look for this session and just join in. And concurrently, we'll be running another session. Just let me share the screen again. Be coming from Dr. Yu Yong Po. He'll be sharing one workshop about deploying a machine learning project in 2 hours. So if you're interested to join this session, again, just look through the agenda and join this session. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Sharala. Thank you again. Hope to see you in person the next time. Thank you.
Yes, the pleasure is mine. Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye.